everyone. So speaking of the Pitt Challenge Healthcare Hackathon, I was a participant 2 years ago. Actually, also 3 years ago, but the project 3 years ago didn't take off. So anyway, I'm here to tell you a little bit about what's happened since then. Also, just a quick note, I do have my dog here. You can pet him if you like dogs. If you're afraid of dogs, please just let me know. I'll keep him away from you. But he's very, very friendly. And also, he's a UPMC volunteer, which means he gets free parking. And I do not, so I kind of abuse that sometimes. This is off the record, right? Anyways. All right, Winston, you better be good. Sit. Wait. Good boy. I don't know if anyone's seen the Canine Companions puppies. They have the yellow and blue vest. He was one of those. And then he got liver disease, had to flunk out. Now he goes to the hospital and sees liver disease patients. So it kind of works out. All right, anyways. So just to start, I am the CEO and co-founder of Korion Health, which was born at the Pitt Challenge Healthcare Hackathon. So just by show of hands, who here has ever started a company? Woo! 1, 2, and a half. All right, who here's ever thought about starting a company or think you might try it in the future? Okay, cool. Who here has never thought about starting a company and has no desire to? Okay, you are my people. That was me 2 years ago. I think I kind of accidentally fell into this entrepreneurial journey. So I'm going to do something a little bit unusual and tell you about all the shenanigans that led to Korion Health, completely unfiltered. All right, so I'm actually a bit of an imposter here. I'm an MD PhD student at Pitt, and I had no desire to start a company, but I met a patient in clinic who really changed my life. He had acute heart failure, and he wasn't able to get care, so he came to the emergency room when he already needed emergency surgery. The doctor that I was working with lamented that if he had come in earlier, he could have prevented this through medication, but I talked to him, and he said he hadn't been to see a doctor in 20 years because the 4-hour drive and needing to get a babysitter for his kids and take time off work was just too many barriers. So I think this is really reflective of a bigger problem in American healthcare, which is that healthcare is difficult to access. You have all these barriers, including cost, time, transportation, and even just appointment availability. So for this hackathon project, I wanted to do something to tackle those barriers. So for anyone thinking about innovation, I want to acknowledge that it can be intimidating, but ultimately you just need to start somewhere. So this was the email I sent to one of my good friends from high school a while back. I was like, hey, there's this a cool hackathon going on at Pitt. You want to be my teammate? And he was like, yeah, sure, I'm not doing anything that weekend. This is what started our journey into the Pitt Challenge Healthcare Hackathon. And since then, we got first place twice, which is a small miracle in my opinion. And then we've done slightly bigger things since then. We got some original got some momentum going from our idea. We then competed in the Randall Family Big Idea competition, the Johns Hopkins one, and even joined a local group here called Ascender. Also, I just want to point out that you will very rarely know what you're doing, and a lot of this really does come down to just Google searching, which is actually pretty effective. All right, this looks like this journey map kind of broke, but I think it's actually more accurate now. So we've gone through a lot of adventures along the way. We've done an MVP and pilot test. I should take this moment to back up to say what the actual thing is. Seeing a lot of patients come in for preventable heart and lung disease in the emergency room, I really wanted to create a way for them to get those critical screenings at home. Telemedicine is good, but you can't do a physical exam. So we created an electronic stethoscope and a guided interface. So anyone can get these screenings from home, even if you don't have a medical background. And here you can see our lovely volunteers demonstrating how to use it. We've also filed a patent. We've developed some strategic partnerships, which is pretty exciting. I'm always kind of surprised when someone actually wants to talk to me, but we do what we do. Even got first place in the American Heart Association Empowered to Serve. And we've so far raised over $500,000 in funding that takes us part of the way toward FDA clearance, which will unlock our ability to sell and actually reach patients. We need a total of around $2 million, but we're working on it, slow and steady. Another thing I want to point out is because the impact was so important to us, we did a crowdfunding raise where we kind of really wanted to form a grassroots movement instead of taking money from VCs to make the rich richer. We invited community members to invest in our company and have a real stake in the healthcare system going forward. All right, so this is a brief overview of my team. My co-founder, Shaya, is really wonderful. She kind of holds down the computer science support of our company. Interestingly, I think Ikshai and I both went into this with kind of low self-esteem. We're very bad at cheering ourselves on, but we're really good at cheering each other on. And so if you're ever thinking about starting a company, I think it's really important to surround yourself with people who lift you up. I think especially for women and minorities, it can be tough if you've been told that you should be quieter or that you're too much. And so really important to have people that amplify your voice. All right, so finally, there will be highs. This is me pitching at the Uprise Social Innovation Challenge last year at the Carnegie Science Center. We did get first place in racial equity. I've never handled this much money in my life. It was a little scary. And I even got invited to meet the Surgeon General of the United States, Vivek Murthy. So that was really cool. You can probably see I'm barely suppressed fangirling here. And then there will also be many lows. So these are a couple of screenshots of my text with my co-founder, Ikshaya. You will notice a common theme is panic. So we often talk about how much we are panicking. This is when I was in finals. I was like, I'm taking finals. And she was like, this is a big panic deliverable. And then this is another one of panic. Actually, I searched panic and over 100 hits came up with Ikshaya. So these are just a couple of them. So here's another one. Send you panic help email. Why is it panic? Well, it's panic because it's after the deadline. And I'm like, oh, shit. So, and finally, you might even deal with a lawsuit. This was very exciting and actually pretty funny. It's now funny. It was very stressful at the time. It was a funny story. For reference, apparently for settlement purposes only means they can say whatever they want and it can't be used against them in court. So later Ikshai and I were hanging out and Winston brought me a toy to trade for my chicken and he looked up and Ikshai was like, for settlement purposes only? And I was like, sure. All right, finally, this is one of my favorite moments. This is when I was mentoring at Penn Hills Charter School, teaching the kids how to use the stethoscope. I just want to throw this in here to remind you, there's a lot of different paths to success, and I don't even know if I would consider myself a success. So take this with a grain of salt. But I think as long as you follow your heart and keep having fun, it's going to end up being okay. All right, that's it for me. So happy to take any questions if you have them. And that's it, guys.
Questions from the audience?
For him
as I'll put Colin on deck to present our last presentation. Ian.
I have your stethoscope with you.
I don't have it with me. There's a video of it on the website. I thought about bringing it, and then I was trying to find Winston, and it blew the whole thing. All right.
Thank you again for joining us and for sharing so much of your journey with us. We're excited to see all the fun stuff you come up with next. Any asks